Hey friends, it's Robin. Welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be the start of a dedicated reading vlog. I got the inspiration for this video from Kayla from Booksandlala's Third Time's a Charm video. She has done a couple of different versions of this, but one of the versions that she did was taking an author that she loved one book from and hated one book from and seeing if Third Time's a Charm, which one was the fluke, and if it was an author that she wanted to continue reading. And I am doing this for Katee Robert. Now, I have read way more than 2 books by Katee Robert, but I've had a bit of a roller coaster journey with her books. So the first book slash series of hers that I ever read was the Theirs for a Night series. I read this and I love this series, but to this day, this is still my favorite series by Katee Robert. I've read a lot of books of hers since then. I have read almost everything in her Touch of Taboo series, and I like a couple of them. I dislike a couple of them. This one is one of the ones that I don't actually really care for. I really like the first one, and then the Christmas novella. I will pop up the 2 that I like here. And then the other ones, I'm not the biggest fan of, including this one. I have read the entire Desperate Measures, Wicked Villains? Yeah, Wicked Villains series, and I like this first one, and Beast is peak, and the rest of them were just fine. In fact, I really didn't like the last one, and I actually think I never went and read Ursa's story. I skipped it because I didn't care. So this one overall was just okay. Beast is where it's at. You can read that one. And then I have read the Bloodline Vampire series, and I gave this whole series 3 stars. It's fun, but it didn't need to be 3 books. You could have kept it at that first book and it would have been fine. I've also read The Dragon's Bride, which is her first monster romance, and is set in the same world as the Bloodline Vampires, and I gave this one 3.5 stars. I'm obsessed with the cover. The cover is stunning, but this is a book that I don't know if I want to continue on with the rest of the series. After I read it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna read them all, and now my interest is waning. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go and do the Third Time's a Charm for the Dark Olympus series. So we have Neon Gods, which was book 1. I give this one 4 stars. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I really liked this. I don't know if this was a fluke because I love Hades and Persephone retellings, so I liked this one quite a lot. And then we have Electric Idol, which I hated. I straight up hated this book. I gave this like 1.5 stars. I didn't like anything about this. I have the most massive ranting review for how much I disliked this book. I don't remember if I ever posted the video, but it's definitely on my Goodreads, which is always down in the description box. But I liked nothing about this. I hated the audiobook. I hated the romance. I liked nothing about this. And again, I don't know if this one's a fluke because I just didn't care about these characters. I don't know if it's because I read 9 million Greek retellings in between these 2, and by the time that I got to Electric Idol, I was just over it, or if this book was just a dud. So we're gonna see which one of these was the fluke and read Wicked Beauty. I will say I've read a lot of Greek retellings, and I think I'm coming to my limit on Greek retellings. So hopefully that doesn't skew my experience of this, but this is a poly relationship between Helen of Troy, Achilles, and Patroclus, and I will say that the Achilles character is usually not my favorite, but I'm going to try to go in with an open mind. I'm going to set myself up for success and not listen to the audiobook because the audiobook and I did not work. So I'm going to read this physically since that's how I read Neon Gods, and we're going to see which one of these first 2 books was the fluke, and see if the Third Time's a Charm, or if this is just an author that I am growing out of love with. So that is going to be the plan for this video. We're gonna read Wicked Beauty. This book is like 380 some pages long. I have no idea what the plot is in here. All I know is who the throuple is, but we're gonna go into this. I have heard good things. However, I heard great things about Electric Idol. and I strongly disagree with all of them. So we're gonna see if third time's a charm. We're gonna see if Katee Robert is a author that I keep picking up, or if this is the time that we part ways. But I'm going to go and start reading this, and I will come back to you when I have some updates. Hello. I just wanted to do a really quick update because I did start Wicked Beauty last night. Hang on. Wicked Beauty last night, and I didn't get very far. I only got to page 37. I just wanted to give like my initial impressions because I'm only reading one book, so I need to give you content for the one book. So I wanted to give my initial impressions, and then we can kind of see how things go as we read. I'm getting my hair done today, so I didn't put dry shampoo in, so I just had to toss it up into the world's grossest messy bun. But first of all, I'm glad I'm reading this physically. For this book, for whatever reason, the physical reading experience is so much better for me than the audio. I don't know what it is about the narrators for this book, but it just doesn't make sense to me. But one of my complaints about the audiobook for Electric Idol was that the narrators all did British accents for the characters, and I did not understand that choice. It's a fantasy book, so why that accent? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. And like it was a very clear choice that they made, and it kept taking me out of the story. It didn't work for me. It didn't make any sense. The choices, the narration choices didn't make sense. But I am enjoying the physical reading experience more with this book. I will say another first impression is that this reads exactly like a Katee Robert book. Anyone who reads a lot of Katee Robert books knows she has phrases that she says, and like the way that she words certain things is in all of her books, and that is already in here as well. That's not to say that's a bad thing. It's just something I've read a lot of her books, and she has phrases that are very classic Katee Robert. I think the plot in this one is far more interesting. At least I'm hoping that it is. This one has a competition, and I do love that type of plot. I love a good competition game, something like that. So I like the idea of this plot much more. I'm hoping that it doesn't go as ridiculous as Electric Idol did, because that plot made no sense, because I didn't know this going in. So I never told you the plot. The plot for this book is that there is an open spot in the 13 for Aries, and in this world, Aries is the like leader of security. For all of the other members of the 13, all the people that have power, there is a certain process in place for how they can become that. But for Aries, it is totally different. It is a competition. There is a round of 3 trials, and you compete to become Aries. And whoever is the winner becomes Aries, and it is a for life position. And so this is the first time in like 60 years that the position of Aries is open. And Helen is the last, I guess, remaining sibling of the old Zeus, who has not taken over a position in the 13. Her brother has become Zeus, her sister is Aphrodite, and so she is feeling kind of lost because she was always used as a pawn throughout her childhood, like by her father. And so she has decided that she is going to become Aries. The only problem is during the like big event where everyone that wants to enter into the competition to become Aries, she discovers that whoever becomes Aries also going to marry her. So she is a prize, and she feels very betrayed by her brother, and she still wants to become Aries. We're also following Achilles and Patroclus, who are already together at the beginning of the book. Achilles really wants to become Aries because he is an orphan and he has no power, but he has worked under Athena and worked his way up the chain to become her second in command. And he has her support in becoming Aries and finally like gaining some power and say in his life. And so Patroclus is also joining the competition just to help Achilles win. Neither one of them wants to marry Helen because they love each other, but they've decided like it's fine. They can at least protect Helen, since clearly she doesn't want to be a prize. And so they are entering into the competition. And so that's the plot, is it's going to be this competition, but we do get all 3 POVs, which I do like. And yeah, I'm interested in the plot. I'm interested to see where it goes. So my first impressions are that I am not immediately angry at it. And I find the plot more interesting than Electric Idols, which didn't have a plot, let's be honest. So those are my first impressions of the book. I'm hoping that I can get some good reading done, and I will update you with better hair than this, and hopefully some more reading updates a little later today. Hi, so I made a whole ton of progress in Wicked Beauty yesterday. I am now on page 151 out of 380. So I made a ton of progress. I will say this book reads ridiculously fast, so that is a plus for it. And I am actually really enjoying the plot of this one. This one has a lot more plot to it than, say, the previous book. Achilles and Patroclus are in a non-exclusive relationship. They both have this strong pull to Helen, who, in an attempt to gain some sort of say in her future, has also entered into the competition. And the three of them are staying in the same dorm. Obviously they're staying in the same dorm. Both Achilles and Patroclus feel this draw to Helen, but they both feel insanely jealous when the other one is interacting with Helen. They put like a limit. None of us can have an interaction with Helen, and Achilles, being the total a-hole that he is, breaks his own rule. I will say that this very strongly parallels the archetypes of these characters. So Achilles is the biggest jerk. I hate Achilles in every single retelling that involves Achilles. It's why I won't read Achilles by Madeline Miller. I hate Achilles. He's a jerk. I hate him. He's self-centered. And Patroclus is obviously the most precious little nugget ever. Helen is this very like standoffish, sturdy. She puts up a big facade. Secretly, she's a big softie, and she just wants some sort of control over her own life. But I hate Achilles. I hate Achilles. Like I said, I hate Achilles in everything. So if you are an Achilles fan, you're gonna love him in here. He's, like I said, he very closely matches the standard Achilles archetype. I never like Achilles. Achilles does not deserve Patroclus in any era, in any retelling. He never deserves Patroclus. One of my like complaints with this series, and this isn't actually a complaint with the series, but more so the way book talk has taken over like book reviewing, is this book keeps getting called like steamy and spicy and sizzling and all this stuff. And I'm just like, this book is like a C- on the spicy scale. like I don't know if I am skewed because I read so much KU steaminess, but like this isn't it. This is not spicy. Like I said, this is like mediocre at best on the spicy scenes. We have had like 3 steamy scenes in here, and they are just, they're fine. I think what's missing for me is for something to be like steamy or spicy or sizzling or any of those buzzwords, like I need to feel the tension. I need that build up, and like feel like you can cut the tension, the sexual tension, with a knife. And with these, that's not the case. It's just like boom, sex scene, boom, sex scene. And it's like, okay, that's great and all, but like I don't feel nothing with this. And I think that's why, like, with this series in general, every time people are talking about like how spicy whatever the series is called, the Dark Olympus series, I'm like, is it though? Because this isn't it. This is not. This says it's a sizzling new chapter. Sizzling is not the word I would describe this. It has an interesting plot, but the romance is not. It's not top tier. Let's put it that way. So that's my feelings on this, is I'm enjoying it. It's like a 4-star right now. That's my little update for Wicked Beauty. I don't know. Like I said, I'm feeling fine. I did just see a post that this series got picked up for like 6 more books. Something wild. Like it's like 9-book series now. I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna wait until the last 200 pages to make this call. That's what this video is about. But I am very much so on the fence about whether or not I will continue with this series. But I guess we'll see. We'll see how it goes with the rest of this book before I make any final decisions. But 9 books is a lot. That's a lot for this type of thing. Let me know if I'm alone in that. But yeah, that's it for this little update. I have a somewhat busy day today. I need to just do some house stuff, and then my husband and I need to do some yard work. And then it's beautiful out today. It's like 80 degrees and sunny, and like there's a nice breeze. So we're gonna like make some drinks and sit outside and read and hang out. So hopefully I can read after all of the house stuff and our yard work or whatever. Oh, I got my hair done yesterday. My husband said he couldn't tell, but I think it's pretty. 10 years together and they stopped noticing your touched up highlights. But yeah, so I'm gonna do some house stuff, and then hopefully I can get started on finishing this book and finishing up this vlog and getting this edited and posted and all of that fun stuff. It's a busy day, so I am gonna go get to it.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spent my coin for sure.
Hopefully I don't regret filming with the window open. There is a race happening and there's a racetrack 2 blocks that way, so hopefully you can't hear that. But it is Saturday. It is a little late. It's like 4 o'clock or something, but we had a really busy day. We had some friends in from out of town, but I wanted to update you on Wicked Beauty because I am now at page 230, so we're past the halfway point, and I have just about the same feelings. I like the plot of this more than Electric Idol, but I feel like this book is very repetitive. So I like the dynamic. This has a very good throuple in it. This is a very good poly romance. All of the people in the relationship bring something different to the relationship that each other needs, which I do really like that. And so I'm liking the couple. However, I feel like for the first 230 pages, we had the same conversation over and over and over again. It is all 3 of them individually going over the reasons why they shouldn't be in a relationship together, and it just they keep, it's like beating a dead horse here. Like, I get it, like all 3 of you think that this is a bad idea and that you're not going to work and that you keep doing it anyways. Like, I get it. We don't need to have that conversation every freaking chapter. And so I will say it's getting a little repetitive. And this is my complaint with every book in the series so far, is why are these books 400 pages long? Because even though I gave Neon Gods 4 stars, I still felt exactly the same. Like, why did it need to be 400 pages? And that's kind of where I'm at with this one. Like, this could have been a 250 page book, and then we could have taken out a lot of that excess and just made this a little bit shorter and more fast paced, because now I feel like we are on page, what did I say, 230, and we've only gone through 1 of the 3 trials. One of them. And so I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary repetitive conversations happening. We did finally get to the romance kind of happening. I did like that. Like I said, I think there is good poly rep in here. I really like that relationship. I'm just feeling very mediocre about it right now. So I'm hoping that the last 100 pages, it's actually more than that, 150 pages or so, kind of picks up, because right now it's sitting more around a 3.5, because I started getting a little annoyed while I was reading yesterday, because I was like, this is what I read yesterday, and I felt like I was reading the same conversation for nearly 100 pages. Like, it was just the same conversation. Even though we were like changing between people, it was every time we would switch perspective, they would just rehash the thing that they said in their last chapter. And I was like, I know, I heard you say this already. I don't need you to say it again. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of mediocre about it, but I have the rest of the day to just kind of chill. I'm wearing a fleece. It's been like 100 degrees the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and it's like 67, and I am so cold. I'm going to just like sit under a blanket and read more of this, and I'm hoping to finish this up this weekend so that I can close out this vlog, but that's where we're at, a little over halfway. I'm gonna go read. I'll check back in with you. Maybe tomorrow, maybe later today. We'll see.
I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars, I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars, I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing.
Ignore my appearance. I just got out of the bath, but I am in, oh, I forgot the book. I am at page 315 of Wicked Beauty, and this, I'm getting to the part in here where it is irritating me for the same reasons as Electric Idol, and this is something that just bugs me in romance books in general, is when the characters keep going, oh, we can't be together. It's impossible. And I'm like, give me one good reason. I'll wait. Because they keep doing that. They're like, each one of us brings an important aspect to the Aries position, but we can't be together. I'm like, but why? 315 pages, and you keep saying how you can't be together, but no one can come up with an actual reason why. You just keep saying that it's impossible and you can't be together. I'm like, tell me why. Why can't you be together? Like, they all want to be Aries, so get married and be Aries. I don't understand. Like, each one of them keeps acknowledging that if they were Aries, they are missing out on specific skills that the other person has, and then they turn around, they're like, but we can't be together. I'm like, but why? Why? There's no reason why you can't be together. The stakes feel so made up. And that's something that like distinguishes like a romance that irritates me versus one I love. So like part of your world, they have actual reasons why they cannot be together, are literally from two different worlds. 8 perfect hours. They live in different countries. The love hypothesis. He's her boss. Red, white, and royal blue. Again, they live in different countries. In this, there's no real reason. There's absolutely none. They've decided that they can't be together, and they just repeat it for 315 pages, and it bothers me. It bothers me. If you are going to write a romance where people in the relationship think that they can't be together, give them a real reason why they can't be together. And don't just keep saying, we can't be together. Each one of them is like, I know it's gonna fail. I'm like, why? Give me a reason. And if it's because you're scared, then say you're just scared and we don't need it repeated over and over again for 315 pages. The stakes in this don't feel real, even though they're competing in a competition, even though like they are literally battling for their lives at times. The stakes feel made up because there doesn't seem to be like anything keeping the characters from just being together and making it happen. It doesn't feel like there's any stakes, even though it is a literal battle. So do we think the last 45 pages, 50 pages, 60 pages? Jesus, this book is on. The last 60 pages are gonna redeem it? Probably not. I'm giving this 2 stars. So I finished this the other day, and I want to preface this little wrap up by saying I am clearly in the minority on this. This is getting amazing reviews. Everyone seems to love this. I don't get it. I'm officially done with this series, and I've actually decided to unhaul this entire series. I did like book 1 enough, but I'm so soured by how much I disliked these last 2 books that I don't want to hold on to these anymore. And this has like 6 more books coming in the series, and I cannot bring myself to want to read anymore in this world. I mean, you watched this whole video. I liked this beginning part. I was gonna give it 4 stars, and it just slowly lost half star by half star by half star the whole way through until we got to the end, and I'm giving it 2. I didn't like almost anything about this. I liked the setup for this book. So the setup has to do with a challenge and a trial, and I love a good game trial challenge in a book. So I was excited for that aspect. I liked how they all complemented each other. Katee Robert writes a really good job of writing balanced poly relationships, which is impressive, but everything about this was just a mess for me. I thought the pacing was so off. It takes like 250 pages to get through the first trial, and then the second trial gets like 10 pages, and then so the pacing of the trials and games didn't make any sense. This book is so repetitive, so repetitive. You listen to these characters make the same arguments over and over and over again. And I think what irritated me the most about it was because they keep sitting down to have a conversation and nobody says anything of substance. And it's like, if you had just said one of the things on your mind, you probably all could have worked this out on page 80. And so it was the exact same problem with me in Electric Idol, where I got to the end and I was like, what was the point of the last 300 pages? And like that was the same thing when we got to the end. I didn't like that. All right, we're going to dial it back a little bit. First of all, this series is written as companion novels, so each one stands on its own. However, it seems like they're not quite companion novels, but they're not connected enough to make it a series, and it's in this awkward in-between stage. So you do get references of the previous characters in this book, and that part isn't exactly important, but the politics part is a slightly more important, and it's becoming more important. And I think that is throwing me off a little bit because book 1 felt like a total standalone. And by the time that we got to this, you don't really get the full wrap up. Like there's in Happily for Now, I guess, but like, is there? The way that the romance came together wasn't like they come together and they're a throuple. Like they come together, but like it leaves it off on like there will be more. And I'm like, okay, so is it a series now? Because it wasn't a series at the beginning. And so like it feels very strange because like I said, the first 2 books felt very standalone-esque. And now it's like it's becoming more of a series, and it's just an odd choice. It's an odd choice. I don't like that. I didn't like how this wrapped up. Like I said, the ending wasn't satisfying. And I like an open ending, but this is a romance. It's a romance. And yes, they get together at the end, but not in a satisfying way. Like it didn't feel like a good romance ending. It didn't do it for me. And I ended up I didn't like this. I didn't like it. I didn't think this was particularly steamy. So everyone who was like sizzling, steamy, spicy, I beg to differ. Like I didn't find any of this all that appealing. I didn't find the relationship to be great in any way. Like I didn't believe any of the feelings between them at all. Like none of them. Patroclus was the only one that had a personality beyond strong and stubborn. So I didn't like the characters all that much. This was a bust. Big old bust, and I am unhauling the series. So not really the way that I wanted this video to go. I was hoping that this was going to be a win and redeem the series for me, and that Electric Idol was the fluke, but I think I've grown away from this series. And like no shade to anyone who's like, oh my god, I loved Wicked Beauty. I'm so glad you liked this. I wish I had liked this. I have considered Katee Robert a favorite romance author for like a year now, and I don't know if I'm just not vibing with her books anymore or what it is, but the last few Katee Roberts I've read have been busts. So that is going to be it for this video. I'm sorry that it was a bit of a bummer, but I'm hopefully going to do some more of these like dedicated vlogs, and hopefully in the future they go better than this one did. So thank you all so much for watching this, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye.